junior at Indian Hill High School who is passionate about helping others. Her parents' experiences growing up in extreme poverty and her travels in rural China inspired her to start BEST, Better Education for Stronger Teeth, a nonprofit organization that seeks to provide health education and products to all.
Okay, so my parents are extremely strong and hardworking people. Both of them grew up in rural China during the Cultural Revolution. My father, at the age of 6, will wake up every morning at 5 a.m. to cut and sell grass with his grandpa at a nearby market. And when he turned 11, he and his family endured a time of eating tree barks for dinner, as that was the only food supply they could find. And when he turned 15, he became a coal miner, earning 30 kwai, or $5 a month, which was already the highest earning wage in the family. In this photo, my father is the guy in the white t-shirt with the glasses. This was the first year he started working for Procter & Gamble in Cincinnati. And it was also the first time he traveled back to China since 8 years living in America. And next to him are 3 of his childhood best friends who were and still are coal miners working in Shanxi, China. With stories like this, I can no way comprehend what my father has experienced. I remember one day I was up late studying, and he came into my room and said, "Wow, Diana, you're doing so much with your life right now. When I was your age, all I had to worry about is whether there'll be enough food the next day." I thought about that sentence a lot. I'm here every single day complaining about the homework load, or having to do the dishes again, but there are millions around the globe who are dealing with problems that are far more severe and immediate. This sudden realization inspired me to actually go into a village and see what my parents experienced as a child. So in November 2017, I decided to visit rural Guizhou, China. And there, this is a photo of when the principal of the school that we worked with gave us a little tour around the village. And I saw these 8 or 9-year-old boys, maybe a little older, just wandering around in the mountains. It was in the middle of the day, so I thought they should be at school. After approaching him, or one of the boys, he told me that his family couldn't afford hiring a shepherd, so he has been in charge of looking after the family's animals for so many years, and this is something he does every single day, day after day. Wondering more, just walking around in the villages, I see all these very inspiring, very pretty and unique houses, but I also see these elderlies in their 60s or 70s carrying these enormous baskets on their backs. And later I learned that for someone living in extreme poverty, you cannot afford retirement. Even at such an old age, they're still farmers, and they earn about $6 a month, which is extremely essential for the survival of their families. I was fascinated by what I saw in Guizhou, and I was inspired to go somewhere else. So 2 months later, I decided to visit Cambodia, and there stayed at a century-old wooden house inhabited by a very nice Cambodian family. And this is the house that I lived in, and these were similar houses. All these houses, they didn't have any electricity, and even until today, they still don't have running water. I remember my time in Cambodia was extremely fun. I had so much fun. I did so many things. I truly lived the authentic Cambodia life, you can say. Because for those days, I planted potatoes, and I even ate a few cockroaches. I am not ashamed of that at all. And later, but most importantly, I learned so many fascinating stories from my host family. I learned that the mother, a survivor of the civil war in Cambodia, which is the lady, she faced execution as a young child when she secretly scrambled for rice while being forced to work in the field by the government. And the guy next to him, her husband, he was the group leader of a government project for an artificial lake in the village. And he had to see so many of his workers, and even some of his childhood best friends, die because of exhaustion and being overworked. And Tom, who is their son, when he turned 18, he had to wait 3 days and 3 nights in a nearby forest without food and water to legally cross the border of Thailand so he can become a fisherman and support his family. While families And China and Cambodia are extremely different, obviously, but people living in extreme poverty have so much commonalities despite where they live. For example, they all rely heavily on farms, which means that if you have bad weather or if your animals got stolen, there's a period of time when you simply don't eat anything or have barely anything to eat. And the children of these families sometimes had to walk 2 to 3 hours just to go to school, and that's only if they do go to school. And most of them spend countless hours cooking or cleaning. And if they do homework, that's at a very late time and under a very dim candlelight. This means that if you are in extreme poverty, you spend all of your energy and time on surviving, which disables you to ever escape the poverty cycle. Before my travels, I didn't really have a grasp of what this world was experiencing. Although my father told me his stories over and over again, and I hear on the news every day of war occurring all over the globe, but those experiences are something so distant from mine that I could never truly feel in any meaningful way of what they went through. Traveling to these places finally spoke to me, and actually trekking miles with the children in China and truly seeing malnourished families in Cambodia, that really spoke to me, and it reminds me every day that there are millions of children around the globe who are suffering from inadequate health care, poor education, and war. They taught me that it's not enough to simply be grateful, but you have to use that appreciation and turn it into action. But I hope the next time you travel, don't just visit monuments or beaches, or when you see a sentimental war photo of a child, don't just express sympathy and move on, but actually turn those sentiments into action. Even as a lowly high school student, you have the potential to change the world and improve lives. Maybe you can do a study abroad program, or visit a village in need, or maybe you just need to get that checkbook out and donate. But whatever it is, even the smallest amount can mean all the difference to one child. Thank you so much.